So this is a really exciting event. Frank Skala got his own street, Frank Skala Way. I have my own personal stories about Frank. He gave me one of the awards for outstanding community service, so I was very grateful to him for that. But everything that anyone said about Frank today has been totally true. Absolutely. That guy made a difference in this community, and I loved what you said about you go to other places, nobody knows anybody. Yeah. But you come here, you have a sense of community again, and everybody knew Frank. Yes. And what he stood for, we all appreciated. I had my own personal story with Frank because I wanted to bring street fairs back, and Frank was totally against them because they had problems in the past. And I went to him and I said, Frank, what's the problem? I'm never letting that happen again. This happened, that happened, this, and it was terrible.
Throw garbage.
And they're going to do this and that. I said, so if I address those issues, will you let me do one? He said, no, you're going to have to do this. I said, if I take your lead and I do what you say, will you let me do one? He said, yes. And then I brought him down. He said, you did a good job, and we started again. So you could talk to Frank. You could get things done, but all the advice he gave you was good advice. So you had to love him for that. So first, congratulations. This is wonderful, but I love that you have Frank Skala Way.
Thank you. There was only one way, and Greg, you're one of the few people to ever change his mind about anything.
I've heard that, yeah.
Ever. So
Jerry Inesi said that was the greatest achievement I ever had, was changing Frank's mind.
We could list on one hand with extra fingers that people who actually changed Dad's mind. Once he was set in his ways, he was set in his ways. But there was some room for growth, especially in the later years. He got a little less curmudgeon-y, but we're so thrilled by this honor. Thank you to Bayside. Bayside was his hometown. He lived here his entire life. He told everyone that our grandparents bought our house over on 40th Avenue for $6,000, and we never left. So my brother and I are the fourth generation to live there, and we'll never leave because Bayside is a great place to grow up and a great place to be.
Fourth generation? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was saying earlier today that I spent 20 years living in Arlington, Virginia now for my job. But like when I think of where home is, I think of here. So this is Bayside is where I am. Bayside is where I belong.
So just one last comment.
Yeah.
What's this like for you guys? Have all these people coming out, have all these politicians, everyone coming out to honor your dad?
It's a bit surreal, kind of. You see all the different facets of the neighbors, the relatives, the former students, the co-workers, the people that were all parts of his life throughout his life. Like I said, they were friends here. His oldest friend from college was here. He took the subway in, the train in from Manhattan, and one of his neighbors who was decades, Mrs. Weddingfeld was decades neighbors with him, so we're really honored that people would remember, especially during summer, especially during vacation on a hot day in the middle of July, that they came out to honor Dad. So we're thrilled by this. Thank you.
I'm just surprised more people didn't boo.
I really kind of was expecting some protesters. I thought maybe the Angry Birds who had their homework ripped in the 60s might still remember, but we still have the grade book so we can prove who did what and that kind of stuff. Dad never threw anything away. That's why we're still going through his house, but he really was a Baysider forever. He instructed us to write on his headstone, worked for Bayside. So that was really
no kidding.
Up in Orange County, in this little tiny cemetery in Otisville, New York, people are representing Bayside. So even though he's buried there, his heart will always be here.
That is wonderful to hear. We loved him. We loved him. So thank you, Frank, for everything you did for the community, and thank you guys for helping bring this together.
You're so great, and he adored you. You were the unofficial mayor of Bayside, so he was happy to pass the torch on to you, and you're doing wild things like emails and updates, that kind of stuff, when he was always old school. But we're thrilled that you're taking over, so many responsibilities that Dad loved to do.
He also coached me on how to take over the Bayside High School Alumni Association and put their alumni directory together. So it's thanks to Frank that we're keeping that going, and I'm trying to serve him well. So yeah, that's fun.
Thank you. We're thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
One take.